What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Casual Podcast with your boy Brian, the Casual Brian. Casual Podcast is brought to you by the Casual Brand, casually connecting you to one another because that's what we do. We stay casual. Hope everyone's doing good on this less cold Tuesday morning. It feels like it's less cold. I don't know what the actual weather is, but it looks sunny, so I'm here for that. Uh, this is anyone who knows me knows that this is my least favorite time of the year. Someone said it best. It's like everyone's all excited through the holidays, and then when the holidays are over, it's like, oh, okay, and we're done with the cold. Thank you. Can we move forward? But today I want to talk about a couple things. Something fun and funny, something not so fun and funny, but still pretty. I still think it's pretty interesting to say the least. And it's basically my feelings towards MLK, the MLK Day, the MLK Day, MLK Day, and why I don't really celebrate it. And then I want to talk a little bit about investing. Don't worry for all you money people out there. I'm not going to be giving any financial advice. I'm just talking about the idea of investing in yourself. Uh, Still waiting. I think the new desk comes in today. So this probably will be the last day in this setup, which will be cool because as you can see, the backlighting is kind of funky, but it is what it is. You gotta work from where you can work from, and I think what's important is that you show up more so how you look and how it looks. People get so caught up in that, and it's like I get it. It if it looks better, it has a higher chance of doing better. But that being said, you got to work with what you got, right? Don't don't let it be an excuse as to why you don't show up. Everyone wants to find an excuse why not to show up. No, show up every day. Show up every day if you can. And if you can't, still show up. So yeah. So let's first get into actually, you know what, before we get started, um, I'm coming to you live from Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. If you are checking me out on any one of those platforms, please be sure to subscribe. I come here live every day, Monday to Friday, and then I post the podcast at 4 to 5 p.m., somewhere in that time. So you can check it out if you missed it or you came in late and you want to find out all the goodness, all the casual goodness. This morning I was going back and forth. I was going to change the name of this actual thing that I'm doing right now to the casual stream or casual show. But then I realized actually it's still a podcast. Like if you look at Joe Rogan, um, it's still his podcast, even though you're watching the video. So I decided to stay with the podcast. It's funny, man. It's really, really funny. There's so many little decisions you can make every day that if you let yourself, you could easily get bogged down with all these little decisions. Not to say that they're not important, not to say some are important and some are not, but it's just literally I could have allowed myself to get caught up in at least 5-10 minutes of indecisiveness just going back and forth about the podcast or the title. And I chose wisely. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. There's no need to do that. That's not necessary. And so I didn't do it. And now here we are. So I'm going to start with the investments because the MLK thing I think is going to take a minute. So whenever someone talks to you about investing, or if I say like it's important for you to invest, I think most people, what they're going to think about is money, finance, the market, the stock market, crypto, NFTs, and it's all finances, and that's important. I do think, right, especially right now, understanding wealth, so fiscal literacy, it's so important. And the one thing that people I don't think really appreciate is the sooner you start saving and investing, the more powerful it's going to be, and sooner. Now, some people feel like, well, I'm already in my 40s, I'm already in my late 30s, I'm already in my 50s. It doesn't matter. Start today. Invest for 20 years, 30 years, and see what you get. You know, I mean, you're not going to be able to spend as much of it, but you will have a better life at that time. You won't, which because what you don't want to be is somebody in their 70s or, geez, God forbid, older and still having to work. If you want to work because you want to have something to do, uh, something to kind of keep you moving, that's fine. But having to work in your 70s and 80s is just, it's unfortunate. Sometimes it is what it is. Like the people who did all the right things, but they were taking advantage of Bernie Madoff and they lost their whole savings. And so, life is can be unfair at times, but it's never too late to start saving. It's just better if you start saving when you're younger. That being said, the investment I'm talking about includes that, but it's not only that, because I'm talking about investing in yourself. My whole mentality towards life has shifted. It's not that I don't ever think about the present, because it's important to be present. It's important to enjoy the moment, because if we're being brutally honest, the moment is all you have. But if you only live for the moment and only focus on now and never invest in yourself, then you have nothing when you get down the line. So if I'm not thinking 5 years from now, where do I want to be? Where do I want to be weight wise? Where do I want to be diet wise? Where do I want my nutrition to be? Then I'm not going to get there. I'm going to get there. I'm going to be exactly the same as I am now. Maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse. But I have strong goals. So like this year, I want my weight to be 190 pounds. That's what I want my weight to be. I think that at that weight, I'll feel good. I'll feel strong. I'll feel healthy. My numbers will all be better. 190 is the goal. So what do I do to get there? Am I just going to hope to get there? No, I have to start making adjustments in my diet. So this week I'm doing, so for these next 2 weeks, I'm making I'm dieting. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to jumpstart my my track, my weight loss with a good weight dip. So by dieting and continuing to exercise hard, I'm going to lose more weight, and that's going to be motivating, and that's going to create momentum, and it's going to be easier to ride that wave to my goal. Now, I'm also a fan of starting little by little, just to get, because what's important is for you to establish that momentum, that rhythm. So yeah, you just have to do something. You have to invest. I'm investing money because I want to start a family soon, and I want to have something that's a foundation for them. And not just a foundation for them, but I want to have something that I can give them. A question I just thought to myself: 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 10 years from now, what would you have to give to your family if you had a family? If the answer is nothing, then you might want to make some adjustments, or you might want to start making some adjustments. I'll say, and it's not just money. It's not just uh, your your weight. I mean, although health is there's so many dimensions and to health. There's the diet, there's the exercise, there's nutrition, there's the right supplements you should be taking. Um, Veganism, being vegan, being a vegetarian, avoiding certain types of foods, uh, fasting. There's so many different types of things you can do. But then there's also investing in yourself by educating yourself, learning a new language, learning how to code, learning, I mean, really, there is no excuse. Unless the only excuse I would say, and even this cannot be an excuse, but it's understandable. If you're a single mom, or you're in a situation where you have to work like two jobs, yeah, it's going to be hard for you to come home and concentrate and learn and improve yourself. You can, but it's unreasonable for me to be like, you still can. You got 2 hours out of the day. It's true though. You know, um, what I would say is look for the way to maximize your time. And but at the same time, if you're working two jobs and they're probably not fulfilling jobs, you're probably going to want a little bit of escapism. when you get home. You're probably going to want to just watch TV, Netflix, sports, and that's fine. You can't fault somebody for that. But for the rest of us, there's YouTube. I If you want to learn something, at least the fundamentals or the foundation of everything can be found on YouTube. You can teach yourself finance. You could teach yourself about the stock market. You could teach yourself about coding. You can teach yourself about web design, graphic design, anything and everything you can start online. And then it's on you. How much you want to study? How much do you want to research? How many videos do you want to watch? When I wanted to teach myself how to kind of figure out the social media game, I watched thousands of videos, you know, and some of them were terrible. Some of them were terrible, but like almost none of them didn't give me at least some information. And so you just put it together. You just put it together, you try it out and find out what works for yourself. That's that's the kind of investment that I really think is important and that people are not doing. Investing in themselves by educating themselves, improving themselves. One last investment that I'm gonna leave, and I'll switch over from here, is investing in relationships. This is another investment that people don't do. And you're like, well, Brian, what does it mean to invest in a relationship? It means investing in a relationship. What does a relationship need? It are you picking up the phone and calling somebody? Are you texting them? Are you making yourself available to talk to people? Are you spending time with people? Are you um, doing things that are going to make that relationship healthier? You know, something that me and my friends do. We have a text. I have a text thread with one group of my friends. Another group of my friends, we have fantasy football, and that's something that we all have in common. We can all look forward to a reason for us all to communicate. That is investing in a friendship and in a relationship. One friend, we just uh, probably almost every month we just call one another and we FaceTime. That's investing in a relationship. These are the things that we must do. We need to start investing in each other. We need to start investing in ourselves, both our health, our finances, and educating and improving ourselves. And that's one of the problems we're seeing. We're 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 living for today, and I don't mean like YOLO. I don't mean like you're just at the club making it rain. I just mean that there's no kind of concept for 5 years, 10 years from now. That's again, I say this all the time. The best advice I got when I got to New York was by Taylor Eichstein. He's like, you got to stop thinking about things from month to month, even year to year, and start thinking in 5 year loops, 5 year increments. And it completely changed my perspective. I mean, I'll ask you this question if you're listening to this now, and write it in the comments. Where do you think you're going to be in 5 years? 5 years. Where are you going to be in 5 years? Have you ever thought about that? Do you have any idea? I'm telling you, once you start thinking about that, it'll completely change your life. So I went a little bit longer than I was expecting. It happens. So I'm not gonna talk as long as I wanted to, but about MLK Day. I'm gonna get the tweet up first. Do 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 do. And for those listening on the podcast, sorry that you can't see this tweet. It's one of my favorite tweets ever. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Um, so the reason why I don't love MLK Day is obviously I am in awe of the legacy by Dr. King. I have so much respect for him. I appreciate everything he's done for America. Really, I mean, a lot of people kind of make it sound like he just helped black people, but it's America in general, and I'm thankful for what he's done. But this is what I don't love. I don't love in his death what he's become. MLK is almost like think about like a Sesame Street character or like some kind of like children's lovable character that was sweet and he did things the right way, blah 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 blah. That is not who MLK was. In his time, people hated him. They called him all kinds of things: communist, um, terrorist, agitator, outside agitator, troublemaker. Fellow ministers talked bad about him. They put him in jail. I believe he was beaten by police. You know, this guy was not, they were not a fan of MLK during his time. And so to come back and pretend like, and they're talking about like he's the right way to do it. That's always the historical way, you know? Today's agitators, today's whatever is always seen as a hero in history, but during their time, they're not. My dad has a saying. He's like, "Don't make a statue about me. Just do what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Help me now." The statue does nothing for me. I think oh, what was it? What was the case recently? They found some. It was a they found a guy who was he was convicted of a crime, and they say, oh, it turns out he didn't do it. They've known for years that he didn't do it, but that does nothing for the guy. Now, I mean, granted, nothing would have done anything for him because they didn't take him to court. The police came and in the night, like they did for many black people, and they took him out. So it's a joke. MLK Day is a joke. On the heels of MLK Day, we're getting ready to see two senators refuse to do anything to protect voting rights. And look, I've talked with some people about the voting laws that have passed, and they don't believe that they are racist or whatever. I'm not gonna debate because it's like trying to convince somebody who doesn't believe in racism that racism exists is a pointless endeavor. What I will say is simply ask yourself, does it make it easier to vote or harder to vote? If so, like for example, having less time to go to the ballots, does that make it easier to vote or harder to vote? Having less options for mail-in ballots, does that make it easier or harder? Not having a national holiday so that people can have time off for sure, does that make it easier or harder to vote? It's just not that hard. And I feel like if you're really examining it, um, if you're being honest, you're taking an honest go at it. It's easy to see. They're making it more difficult to vote because they don't think that everyone should have the right to vote. And I just don't agree with that. I think that if we're all living here, why wouldn't we want everyone's say? Why don't it should be extremely easy to vote, in my opinion. And it's not. It's not at all. And for the life of me, I don't understand why we tolerate that. There's a lot I don't understand about our politics that I think we could easily fix. But that's just me. And so on a lighter note, and that's why so basically that's why I don't celebrate MLK Day. I think it's a joke. I think it's something to make people feel good about themselves, feel like we have a lot of progress when we don't really have that much progress. We're just a little bit better than where we used to be. And I know people say that's crazy to say, Brian. That's super offensive and it makes no sense and you're not being honest. I'm being honest. We are a little bit better than what we used to be. In fact, we're less better than what we had been because that's how it works. People think that we went straight from slavery to Jim Crow. We did not. We did not. We were free and then we went back to Jim Crow. And that's how it works. We get some freedom and then we go back. We get some freedom and then we go back. And right now, they are attempting to take us back. Anything and everything that protects Black people from racism, which still exists, is being gutted. So don't tell me it's not getting worse. Don't tell me it's not just a little bit better. It is a little bit better. Just a little bit better. It is better, yes, but just a little bit. And on that, I'll leave you with this wonderful, wonderful tweet. Or I found this. I'm not gonna say where I found it from. It's a stock template if you were looking to share something. And it says, he was a man who had a dream. And that basically is America's uh, approach to civil rights. And if you don't get it, I can't help you get it. Until tomorrow, have a great day and be sure to follow and subscribe. Take it easy.